Hello, welcome to a new video where today I'm going to be decorating a cake for charity. So I work with an organization called Cakes4Kids, which makes free celebration cakes for kids who cannot afford them. So that is what I'm doing today. I have made 2 cakes in the past, here are what they look like. And now I'm doing my third. I'm not going to disclose the name of the child I'm making the cake for, but this child wanted a funfetti fairy themed cake, and this child is on the older side, so I'm going for a bit more of like an aesthetic fairy vibe, if that makes sense. So yesterday I've made some funfetti heart-shaped, because for a lot of these you actually get to have quite a lot of creative freedom, and I thought the heart shape would be just kind of a fun touch. So I have 2 heart-shaped cakes which have been cooling in the fridge since last night. They look gorgeous. Just gonna put that in the sink for now. And I am going to level them. This is the cake leveler that I have. It is kind of like a wire, I guess, and then you just saw back and forth to get an even layer. I'm taking the lazy Susan off. Oh, I'm actually gonna have to take it off the cake plate. Don't worry, this counter is clean. I'm just gonna give it one last final wipe. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just going to swirl back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I have a plate here because every time I make a cake for someone else, I make a mini one for my family. So there you go. Look at the beautiful funfettiness. Oh, funfetti's so fun. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this lovely blue buttercream. I tried to prep a lot of the things in advance just so that this video would be like strictly decorating. I am using the vanilla frosting recipe from the icing artist. She has a free e-cookbook that you can access when you just go into the description of any of her videos. And this is the best buttercream recipe that I have found, because I have tried a lot of buttercream recipes. So I just put a little bit down on the cake board. Now I'm going to flip it over, and ta-da! We have a cake on a cake board. Now we just need to level the other one and stack it up. I should probably put frosting down on this first, now that I think about it. Now I'm going to stick this one cut side down so that when you frost you don't get all these crummies in your cake. Just make sure it is even, because that would be unfortunate if I had a lumpy hot cake. Now, well, not lumpy, but uneven. Now I'm going to go in and do something called a crumb coat, which is a very thin layer of frosting all over the entire cake, because hence crumb coat, it traps in all the crumbs that could come out. Like you see down here, all the crumbs. When we put on the frosting layer, it just sticks all the crumbs in. So we don't have to deal with that when we do our decorating. While I do my crumb coat, I'm going to talk a little bit about Cakes4Kids. So how I actually got into Cakes4Kids, well, how I found out about it is I follow Madeline White on TikTok, who is an incredible fashion influencer, but one day she just showed a video of her talking about Cakes4Kids and making like a Hello Kitty themed cake for a child, and I was like, that's so cool. I love baking. I've been baking since I was forever. So to be able to bake and then give my creation away is like the greatest thing, because I love helping people. So being able to have this outlet where I get to do what I love and then do something else that I love of helping people, it just feels so perfect and so fitting. So Cakes4Kids is in a lot of areas. Like if you're in the California area, there's places. So please go to the Cakes4Kids website if this is something you're interested. I will leave the Cakes4Kids information down in the comments down below. They also take donations, because these cakes, I said for children who can't afford them, but it's more for families who can't afford them. Like often it's children who are in the foster care system or who are in like children's shelters. So being able to give a child a birthday cake is just so special, because yeah, birthday cakes are just so much love and care, and I just love being able to share that love with other people. That was really sappy, but I kind of liked it. So I'm just gonna finish up this very thin crumb coat. Child who requested this cake specifically requested, they can be very specific, like flavors, fillings, decorations. So this child requested a fairy themed cake with pink, blue and yellow colors. So that is my inspiration, and then obviously they asked for fairies as well. So I'm very excited. The last cake that I did was a safari themed cake for quite a young child, and I even got to get a photo of the child enjoying their birthday cake, which just, oh, that made my heart melt. Right, now that our beautiful crumb coat is done, I'm going to pop this in the fridge because working with a cool cake is the best. It makes sure that your icing hardens up, and it just makes everything so much easier to work with. So I'm gonna go pop this in the fridge, and then I'm gonna show you the cool decorations that we have to work with. I have some yellow and pink frosting. This is very light pink, quite fluorescent yellow, and I actually darkened this pink up a bit to go in piping bags, because I'm kind of going for a vintage cake meets fairy cake design, because I felt like that would work for a child who's especially on the older side. So got this with our blue frosting from earlier. Then with white chocolate letters, I have happy birthday, blah blah blah, not saying blah blah blah, but child's name, which I'm actually going to do after the video just because I want to protect this child's privacy as much as possible. But the decorations that I'm very excited for and can show you are these little mushrooms that I got from Michael's. They're paper, and they have, Cakes4Kids has a rule that if there is any non-edible item going on the cake, that you protect it with like a toothpick or wire, or in this case white chocolate. So I dipped them in white chocolate just so that there's a barrier between the non-food item and the food. And then I also have 3 of these gorgeous sparkly white butterflies. When it was my cousin's 21st, she had a Met Gala theme, and I made this headpiece that had white butterflies on it that were bigger and just like these, so this is making me feel quite nostalgic. So I am very excited to put these on. I also got these sugar flowers, which perfectly came in which perfectly came in pink, yellow and blue. They are purple, but I'm gonna put that on my parents' cake, because like I said, when I do a big cake, I also like to make a smaller version for my parents to eat. And then most vintage cakes have little pearls on them, so I actually had these because when I was in Seussical for a cast gift, I made little clover cake pops with the little speck of dust that the Who's were on. So I still have a bunch of these left, so I'm gonna use some of these today as well for decorations. Okay, the cake is done chilling in the fridge, so now it is time to frost it. I'm going to take more of this beautiful blue frosting and put it on the cake. Stop that much. And I tend to like to do the sides of my cake first and then go on the top, because I like bringing the icing down from the top over to the sides like this. Well, better than that when I can actually see. It's a bit hard from this angle to see. And I'm not worrying too much about this area down here because I'm gonna go over it with a shell border, or like the vintage cake vibe. I also love that those vintage cakes are like in style now. I did a vintage cake-ish for my graduation cake, and that was super duper cute. I really liked how that one turned out. I'm about to sneeze. That is completely normal. normal, I promise. My dad sneezes like that, so I've always sneezed like that. And that was one of the few times I've actually caught my sneeze on camera. I've only ever caught my sneeze on camera one other time. So, lucky me, I guess. Now, while the cakes were chilling, I put them into piping bags. This piping bag is the yellow and it has a 1M tip in it, and that's what I'm going to use to get that nice fluffy shell border. So. This is kind of reminding me, especially with this yellow frosting on top, of the Max and Ruby cake that Ruby makes, the pink one. If I made this pink instead of blue, honestly, that would have been so cute. I loved that Max and Ruby book when I was a kid, and then when they made it into a TV show, oh, that's as good as we're gonna get. I'm gonna put a butterfly there to cover that. And pretty good guess of how much yellow I needed. Now with a 21 star open star tip, I'm gonna go on top and do a border on top of all of this. I think I just figured out how to properly do a shell border. You won't mind if I sit, right? Oh, thanks, you're so kind. Okay. So I'm just going in with a toothpick and just carving in the little swoopies so that when I go and do them with my piping bag, it'll be a lot easier. I'm gonna make it look better, at least I'm gonna try to. Now in this piping bag, I have the blue with a number 27 closed star tip, and I'm gonna make little rosettes where all the swoopies meet. It's why is it so tall? Hey! Oh, now we get to do the fun part of decorating. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the big ticket items, the butterflies. I'm immediately gonna put one there, another one over here. I'm mainly looking for where is an ugly spot that I could just cover up with a flower. Maybe right there. So, ta-da! Here is the final cake. I am so happy with it. I think it came out so cute. I'm so glad I did the swoopies. I think it looks really magical, which is what I was going for. Very whimsical, very just fun and fantasy-y. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed decorating this cake so much. I feel like I was feeding two birds with one stone here. I got to make a beautiful cake and make a fun video. So if you like these baking videos, you could let me know by liking this video, and you could also subscribe if you wanted to. Please go and check out Cakes4Kids down below. They are such an incredible organization. You will love them if you end up doing cakes for them, and if not, please consider donating. With all that said, I think that is the end of this cake. Maybe I'll get a little b-roll, little beauty shots. Oh, and I'm also going to decorate a cake for my parents, which I will show at the end as well. But with all that said, I will see you in another video. Bye for now.